Hey folks, it's King from Stay Tuned Sports, and I gotta tell you, I love energy drinks. They help give me that boost that I need to finish all my work, get through game film recaps from all of Sunday's games, and they provide that pick-me-up during a very long week. What I don't love is that crash and the jitters, the gross feeling you get with most other energy drinks. And that's why I tried Dubby, and I gotta tell you, Dubby is a game changer with flavors like Dragonade, Beach and Peach, Galaxy Grenade, and my personal favorite, the Dub Sludge. You can find your favorite or just get them all. There's no jitters, there's no crash because there's no sugar in Dubby. Plus, Dubby contains Neurofactor, an all-natural ingredient derived from coffee cherries, which has been linked to enhance brain function. You go on over to dubby.gg right now. That's dubby.gg to grab the best energy drink you've ever had. And if you enter the code STSports18 in all caps, you'll get 10% off your order. That's STSports18 to get 10% off of Dubby. Be better.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You heard the rest. Now here's the best. Stay Tuned Sports Podcast.
And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here, and our good buddy King.
Hey, how we doing?
How you doing, buddy?
Still kicking, still alive.
Yeah, I don't think I was kicking too well on Monday and Tuesday. I didn't think we were going to get the show out this week.
You get the vid? Did you have the vid?
I cannot confirm or deny that. No.
Well, could you taste anything?
Yeah, I could taste my alcohol.
You're fine then.
Yeah, just a little chest congestion, I guess, if you want to call it that, and loss of voice, which, I mean, probably for listeners would have been nice for them.
Well, no. If they're listening to us, it's because they actually like hearing our voices. So, it's good that you have your voice back. Again, it's, glad that you're feeling better. You get some Mucinex in you, loosen up all that chest shit in there, hack all that up there, and get you off the injury report there, and back into the game.
At least I'm not Christian McCaffrey, who's on the injury list every year of his, or every week.
Is he back? Is he back on there?
I gave up watching. The first 3 weeks he was. I don't know if he was.
I know he was. He's playing.
Yeah,
I know he was playing. So like, I listen. I don't mind somebody being on an injury report and then playing, because in football, at some point everybody's going to be injured.
Yeah.
Or on the injury report anyway. But yeah, no. His problem is, one of the classic saying is the best ability anybody can have is availability.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Christian McCaffrey is a fantastic talent, a wonderful talent, maybe one of the best talents that the NFL has seen in the last 20, 25 years. But he's never out there.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. And that was unfortunately seeming like that's how it was going for Saquon for a while. Now, again, he's doing well this year so far, and hopefully he can stay healthy for the whole year. And you hope that Christian McCaffrey stays healthy. You hope that a Saquon Barkley or people like Saquon Barkley stay healthy for the year. You want as just an NFL fan, let alone whatever team you like, just as an NFL fan, you want the talent to be healthy. You want the talent to be out there to watch it, because otherwise we're stuck with Thursday night games where we're watching like Colts and Broncos that just is gonna be terrible.
What are you gonna do though if this game turns out to be like the game of the year? I mean, I know it's not, and it's not, but there's that 1% chance.
No, because that happened a couple of years ago. I think it was the Browns and Jaguars or some. There was some kind of really terrible Thursday night game with two terrible teams, but it turned out to be like super entertaining and fun to watch. But nobody watched it because it was like, it's two shitty teams. Who cares? And I feel like that could happen tonight, but nobody's going to notice outside of a lot of people because, like I said, I don't even know if I'm going to watch it. I might sit here and watch I don't know. We're getting into spooky season now. I got sit down with the fiance, maybe watch a horror movie or something, or do something like that. Because otherwise, we're just gonna sit there, be bored for a couple hours before we have to go to bed because she's got work in the morning, and do all that kind of I don't want to waste the little time that we have together every day.
Yeah,
watching shitty football. Don't want to do it.
I'm gonna tune in and at least give it the first quarter and see what happens. But usually for me, whenever I do that and the first half or the first three quarters suck, that fourth quarter is when everything breaks loose and it turns out to be a really good game.
Listen, if it happens, it happens. But, again, as we talk a lot about gambling on this show anyway, odds are, if we're going to play the odds are that's not going to happen. The Broncos can't get out of their own way. Russell forgot how to cook. Their head coach is fucking retarded. I don't know what the hell he's doing half the time. And the Colts are schizophrenic. One week they're beating the Chiefs, the next week they're getting their cheeks clapped by the Titans. You don't. So again, could it be an exciting game? Sure, absolutely, it could possibly be. Will it be? I have my doubts.
Let's circle back to talking about injuries here, because I one of the big stories past 2 weeks is Tua.
Yeah, buddy.
Now, the first quote back, what do they call it, back spasms or something instead of a concussion?
They said it was some kind of back injury, something where he twisted his back or had a back spasm. It made his legs kind of wobbly or do something like that. That was the official word coming out from the Dolphins and the independent neurological specialist, whatever the hell his name is.
And then obviously last weekend was the real scary one where you all tensed
up. That was one of the scariest ones I've seen in a while.
Listen, man, I've seen some knockouts in UFC where fighters went like that, like their leg would be tensed up in the air. I never seen fingers like just contorted like that. I'm like, what?
Where he was just kind of staring at his hands, staring at his fingers like that. Yeah, no, I've seen people knocked out where the arms go stiff and stuff like that. Yeah, that one was not just that, but just the impact of it, just the throwing to the ground, how he was concussed in it. Like that was. That's a 70s football highlight. You know what I mean? That was really bad and really scary.
So as far as who to blame, how far up the ladder in Miami's organizations should be held accountable? Should the NFL be accountable for it as well?
See, here's where it is, because it's so dependent on who did what. Like the thing is, like we don't know what happened in the exam room. We don't know what happened in the blue tent. We don't know what happened with any of that stuff.
We do know who
said what to who.
We do know that the independent neurologist got fired because he actually, I guess, didn't do the concussion protocol steps or whatever they want to call the tests. Didn't do them correctly. So a lot of those tests that they
from what I understand is that he got fired because when the NFLPA opened up an investigation into it initially.
Yeah.
And when they started interviewing him, he was super combative. He was antagonistic towards the interviewers.
Okay.
Refused to answer questions. Refused to give any kind of insights to the NFLPA investigators, which is fucking weird.
Yeah,
if you're an independent neurological consultant, that your whole job there is to be the you're not affiliated with the team, you're not affiliated like that, you're not affiliated with the NFL. You're there to say, does this person have a concussion or some kind of neurological problem, and can he go back into the game, anything like that. So the fact that was this particular person's stance, which again is weird, because again, this is somebody who is certified, like he's a doctor.
Yeah,
he's been vetted by the NFLPA by the NFL, by the Dolphins, by all these people who looked over him and gave him the check mark and said yes, 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 and then here he is doing that. So that is a big question as to why was he acting like that.
Yeah.
Now, again, the final say on whether a player can go back into the game or not is on the team physician.
Okay.
The independent neurological consultant can give a recommendation and say, this person's had a concussion, no, or this person hasn't had a concussion, whatever.
Yeah.
But the team physician then takes that into account and then makes the decision on whether or not the player can return or not. So now is the question of why was this neurological consultant so combative? What was said? What was done? What did the team physician know? What was communicated? What was Tua's part in all of this?
Those
are some of the things that we don't know. On the eyeball test, from watching that game with Buffalo, when he got pushed to the ground and his head hit the back of the grass.
Yeah.
And when he got up and he got wobble legged, he had jello legs, and everybody who watched that game said that motherfucker's concussed.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's saying that. Now, whether or not that's a back spasm, whether or not that's a case, you know what? Could it be? Again, like we were talking about with the Broncos, could it be?
Yeah.
Sure. I would not put it out of the realm of possibility. It is something that is absolutely possible. If I was a betting man, if I was putting money on looking at that and then saying, do you think that's a back problem or do you think that's a concussion? I'm laying heavy money on concussion.
Well, yeah.
And I think that's where people got, why there's such an uproar, because to the eyeball test of everybody who watched that, he had a concussion. And at the very least, should have been held out for the rest of that game. And then if it wasn't, it would have been like, okay, fine. Because here's the other thing, too. Here's the other thing you got to think about, too. Let's say that is, okay, something happened with his back. It either got twisted or he had a spasm or something, and it caused his legs to wobble like that and do everything like that.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's the story that the Dolphins are going with.
Yeah.
And that Tua said happened. If your back is fucked up that bad, why the fuck are you going into the game anyway?
Yeah.
So there's two questions right there. Okay, if that's not a concussion, but that's a spinal issue, if that's a back issue that's causing the nerves in your leg to go all fucking wonky like that, then why the fuck are you going back in the game anywhere like that anyway?
Yeah.
Like that's something that, a lot of people are kind of skipping over as well. And I heard Dan Patrick say this during his show a couple weeks ago when all this first happened. And it's actually a pretty legitimate comparison if you want to say it like that. If you had somebody who was at your house, let's say me and you are hanging out.
Okay.
And I'm hammering beers and we're having a good time, everything like that. And I stand up, I get ready to go leave, and I start stumbling the way Tua stumbled there. Are you going to let me drive home?
No.
Let's say we're watching a boxing match, and two guys are, they're boxing. Guy gets peppered a couple times, and then he starts stumbling a couple times, and he has to hold on to the ropes, and he has to have people hold him up. Right? Are you letting that guy continue to fight, or are you calling the fight?
If I'm the ref, I'm calling the fight, because the corner, aka coach, is not gonna throw the towel on unless you are just getting mauled.
Well, this guy has to. Yeah, I'm talking about, like, again, because you looked at Tua, he had to be held up by two people.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about, let's say, now put that in the boxing terms. This guy can't stand up on his own. He has two people have to help him up, and he's leaning up against the ropes. Are you letting him continue to fight?
If he needs people to
the answer is no, Jimbo.
Well,
you're not letting him continue to fight. That's the end. That's the end of that question.
No, I kept saying no.
But that's the point is, if you have somebody like that stumbling around your house, you're not going to let him drive home. If you have somebody like that stumbling around a boxing ring, you're calling the fight.
Yeah.
if you have somebody like that stumble around a goddamn football field, you're not letting them back in the fucking game.
No.
And they let him back in the game. And that's the simple fact of the matter is, whether it was a concussion or not, whether it was a back injury or not, no matter what it was, the fact that he went back into that game was a problem. And then they play him again on a short week, and then he gets that real scary hit.
Yeah.
To where now he is out. So, and now we, like, if that was a concussion against the Bills, which I think we're all fairly sure it was.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about like that compound damage. Like there's a lot of damage there now.
Yeah.
How does that affect him? How does that affect him going forward? And anything like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions about that, putting his health at risk, all of those kind of questions, and none of it's good, and none of it looks good for the Shield.
No, from top to bottom.
So, and
you know what? Like when the second one hit, the second concussion happened, everybody on social media, fans, NFL analysis, all that stuff. What's it? Mike McDaniels is the head coach.
Yes, he is.
The owner should be held accountable. The NFL should be, sued. McDaniels should be fired. And in the beginning, I was like, you know what? I don't think the coach should be fired because he's going off of the information.
Well, again, yeah, he's not doing. I don't put any blame on McDaniel here.
But you kind of have to because, like you just said, if you use the eye test, you don't have to be a dumbass to realize, wait, there's something really wrong going.
All right, but again, you got to remember that the coaches do have 20 different other things going on all at the same time.
Yeah.
And so he's going by, and that's the thing. The coach goes by what the doctor tells him. So if the doctor tells him, hey, listen, 2 is good to go, then 2 is good to go. And he's like, okay, put somebody else in there. Because he's also worrying about the 10 other guys on the offense. Who's the personnel? What is the, what is the other opposing team's defense looking like? What is his defense looking like? What down is it? What time is it? What's the play clock looking like? What's where are we in the quarter? Where are we? How long until half? What's the situational awareness? What, like, all of, like,
yeah.
Every coach has to do that. So all he's doing is, and this is every coach. This isn't just Mike McDaniels. This is every coach.
Yeah.
Is he good? Is he not? Oh, he's good to go. Okay, good. All right, here's what we're doing, and then it goes right back. So I don't put anything on him. I don't.
I put a little bit. I don't put. I don't put the full blame. I mean, come on. If Tua's cross-eyed because of a hit, and the coach is worried about all these things and sees him cross-eyed, that's going to be like.
But again, the coach sees him hit and he sees him wobbling off and he pull him off the field. Okay, but he has to worry about, okay, let's get the backup in there. Let's get Teddy Bridgewater in there, and let's get this going. And he's got to go right to the next play. He can't worry about what's going on with Tua because he still has to pay attention to everything else that's happening on the field.
Yeah.
Like, he still has to do all of that. And that's why this is a failure of the independent neurological consultant and the Dolphins physician.
See, that's why I also think...
This is the biggest failure there, because it's their job to tell the coach whether or not the player that's out can come back or not, especially if it's somebody as important as the quarterback.
Yeah.
You have to be able to convey that and convey that well. And they did it. They went to him and they said, he's good to go back in. And so McDaniels is like, okay, I just got told by the team physician who consulted with the neurological consultant that he's okay, no concussion, he can go in. That's all that's in his mind, and that's all that he's thinking, because that's all he's been told.
And see, though, that's why I think when it comes to concussions, the team doctor shouldn't have the final say. It should be that independent neurologist who, doesn't have.
Well, here's the thing.
Look at the movie Any Given Sunday with that doctor.
But here's the thing, and because it's not like the independent neurologist said, "Oh, man's got a concussion," and the Dolphins guy said, "Nah, he's fucking fine," and put him out there. That's not what happened. There is no way that the independent neurological consultant is going to say this player had a concussion, and then the team physician is going to say, "Nah, it's okay, he can go out there." That's not happening in this NFL in this day and age. That's not happening. If it did, the neurologist would come out, being independent of it all, and say, listen, I said this player had a concussion. They put him in there. And you want to talk about a fucking scandal?
Yeah.
That would be a scandal and a half. So that's not happening. But when the team physician goes to the neurologist consultant, they're checking him out. And the neurologist, who knows supposedly a shit ton more about brains than just the team physician, who's pretty much like a GP, just a general practitioner. When that happens and he goes to him and says, I checked him out. We went through concussion protocol. He seems fine to me. Like, again, now the team physician, he asks the player too. He's asking his questions. He's trying to gauge what the health is, how he's feeling. If he says, oh, it was just my back. If he's like, check this out, or we'll look at that, whatever the case is. But I think there was a massive failure on both the neurological consultant and on the Dolphins team physician on this one. And I want to know why. I want to know what was I want to know why the neurological consultant was so combative in the interview. I want to know what didn't he want to answer? Why didn't he want to answer it?
Yeah.
Like, is this something where, like, again,
I wouldn't.
Would it be out of the realm of possibility that Stephen Ross was like, get Tua out there? Because, we all know Stephen Ross doesn't like him anyway.
Yeah.
So
that's why I was thinking.
Is that something that happened?
That's why I was thinking about the Dolphins physician said, just go ahead, you're good. Yeah,
but he's not doing that without the go ahead also from the neurological consultant.
Yeah.
Because again, that would be a problem. So there's something wrong here, and I think in the beginning, even if you're like, okay, well, maybe he did this, and maybe it was, the neurologist said he was okay, and that's an independent person, and like, you go through all that stuff, and it's like, all the logical things in your head, and you're like, well, they said it was okay, and this stuff, and blah, blah, blah. And now here we are, and now the information is, well, the neurological consultant was combative. He didn't answer any of the questions. We don't know what happened there. Like, now all of a sudden it becomes now something fishy's going on. No pun intended with the Dolphins there, but something is weird with the Dolphins franchise right now, and nobody knows what. Like, there needs to be something more to this, because it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
The NFL needs to investigate, because that's the other thing too. Like we just said, this is not a good look for the Shield. It's not a good look for anybody. It's not going to look for the Dolphins. It's not going to look for the NFLPA, who signed off on this neurologist. But it's definitely not a good look for the Shield. And that's the other thing too. The NFLPA fired the neurologist. Okay, that's good, fine. Why does the Dolphins physician still have a fucking job?
Yeah.
Has anybody questioned him? What was his answers? What were his responses to these questions? There needs to be. We need to know what happened in that examination room and what was said to find out why something like this could have happened, and whether it was a concussion or whether it was a back injury of some kind of spinal cord or nervous system injury to cause his legs to do the stanky leg there in the middle of the fucking field. Like, there needs to be some answers here. And that's the thing. I'm usually not that kind of guy. I'm usually not there's got to be goddamn answers here. That's not me.
Yeah.
But in this situation, it's like there's a lot that stinks here.
Now,
there needs to be some kind of there needs to be some kind of resolution.
If you're Tua, and that, now, I mean, I'm pretty sure he still has a concussion, but he's more clear-headed than he was that night. What do you do about your career? Do you fight back and try to overcome this, or do you just say, you know what, guys, I'm retired, I'm done? I know the guy that
it depends on how he feels. I think it depends on how he feels. Like, if he does the recovery and feels good and feels better than he did, then that's fine. But again, we've seen more recently than ever, that players take their health a lot more seriously, and their longevity and their post-playing career selves into consideration a lot more.
Yeah.
Look at Andrew Luck. Like, Andrew Luck is one of those quarterbacks that He was always injured. He had some rehabs and stuff like that. And when he just upped and retired, and everybody was like, "Oh, out of nowhere," everything like that. And it's like, no, the guy was. You could see he was physically spent.
Yeah.
Like everybody just thinks, oh, rehab is like, rehab is physically and mentally and emotionally exhausting.
And he even admitted that in his press conference that he just cannot do rehab no more. It's just too much.
Right. And so doing all that, going through the rehab to get back out there, and that's it. I don't think Andrew Luck lost a love for the game. I don't think Andrew Luck lost a love of playing. I think that it just was physically, mentally, and emotionally far too taxing for him to continue.
Yeah. Now, see, there was also something else I wanted to bring up. I forget what it was.
Must have been a lie.
This I was thinking about at work though too. Is, we're this will be the 5th week of the season, and I always say you really don't really know these teams until after 4 weeks. And I say the same thing about college football too.
We still don't know anything.
Yeah, well, this year. So up until this point though, what's your biggest surprise out of all the NFL teams?
That's a good question. I might break this down into two parts. I might break this down into positive surprise and negative surprise.
Okay.
I will say my positive surprise so far is the Jacksonville Jaguars. In so much of a fact of they are competitive and they can lay some wood on you if they want to. And last week against the Eagles, they lost.
I got nervous. I was nervous.
But Trevor Lawrence there dropped the ball. He fumbled the ball 5 times.
Yeah.
And when he fumbled the ball, that basically gave the game away to the Eagles.
Yeah.
But if they don't do that, they are very much in that game against them. And again, they went to L.A. and not only beat but stomped the Chargers in their home. And they had also beaten the Colts 2 weeks earlier than that. Again, it's the Colts, but shut them out. So I think the biggest surprise on a positive end for me is the Jaguars in that, and especially in that AFC South, they might win that division just by default.
Yeah.
They might win it. Biggest negative surprise. I'm gonna say, man. I would have to say probably, man, I don't know.
I mean, I'll go with, I guess, with my negative one. I really thought when the Colts traded for Matt Ryan, I thought they'd be, I thought they would be a hell of a lot better than what they are now. But I thought they would actually legit make the playoffs. I don't want to say kind of easy, but I think they would have won the division, or at least got in there as a wild card. But
I agree. I think that it's. I think the Colts had that expectation. They're not my negative surprise though, because this is their 3rd starting quarterback in 3 years.
Yeah,
that's a lot of turnover to have for your signal caller. Again, Matt Ryan is up there in age. And that's the feeling, is like it seems almost like these replaceable quarterbacks that come there maybe trying to rehab a career, everything like that. And it's just, Phillip Rivers was at the end of his career. Matt Ryan here is at the end of his career. And Wentz was trying to restart his career. And none of it has worked out. They don't have that many weapons as far as on offense. And it's not working. Yeah. Their offensive line is a turnstile. I agree that I think at the beginning of the season you think the Colts should win that division anyway easily.
Yeah,
but they're not.
And the other part that actually, the other surprise to me, I really didn't think the Steelers were going to go to Pickett at this early, let alone at all this year.
Yeah, but they still suck.
Well, exactly. So, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, I think maybe it was about Pickett. How once you go to him, you cannot take him back out now.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
So-
This is Pickett's team now.
Yeah, and you have a shit team. I'm not sure how many times Trubisky got hit or sacked. So you're taking that chance that Pickett could get slapped around and everything and totally screw his confidence.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I had this discussion with my father too, because he wanted Pickett in there to start with anyway. He's like, oh, they should put this Pickett guy in, and Trubisky sucks and everything. Like, all right, fine. I still like Trubisky. I'll that's a hill I'll die on. That's fine. But the thing is, okay, if you want to get the kid experience, you want to build up his NFL experience, you want to build up maybe some of his confidence or whatever, of running an NFL team and running an NFL offense, that's fine. But don't have any expectations of going to the playoffs. Don't have any expectations of having a winning record, because you're not going to have it.
Yeah.
That team is bad. They're a bad team. Their only offensive weapon is Chase Claypool, and that's if he decides to catch a ball or not.
I was going to say, even that's questionable.
You know what I mean? And then their defense is clearly TJ Watt, and that's it, because they're garbage. So, and the fact of the matter is, the Steelers are 1-3, and they should be 0-4, because the only reason they won that game against the Bengals is because the Bengals long snapper got hurt. Otherwise, the Bengals win that game, and the Steelers are not a good team. Anybody that has an illusion out there about the Steelers being a good team, or that putting Pickett in is going to make you guys a playoff contender, it fucking isn't. And you guys are bad. And you're a bad team, bottom line.
And even next year, they may bump up a couple wins, but they have too many holes on that offense.
Well, you never know. Again, that's a whole off season away. If they might draft somebody, pick up people in free agency, moves, trades, all that stuff. Will they get better? I undoubtedly believe so.
Yeah.
Again, but you're talking about this is their first season without Roethlisberger. You're moving on from somebody who was the face of the franchise for 20 years. That's a lot to move on to replace. You didn't have a lot of weapons to begin with. You got, they have a lot to fix.
Yeah.
They have a lot to fix. Will they? Yeah, sure. I'm sure at some point, but it's not this season, and that's certainly not gonna happen. But yeah, no. Like I hold no illusion of Pittsburgh being any good this year. Listen, when you lose to the Jets, you're gonna have to question how good you are.
Yeah.
Because listen. The Jets are 2-2. Hey, there's something like that. They're still a fucking Jet. Like, listen, my New York Giants are 3-1. I am excited by that. Trust me, I'm very excited about the Giants being 3-1. Do I have any illusions that we're fucking world beaters? No, but we are 3-1, and you are what your record says you are.
Yeah.
So are the Giants an elite team, a great team? No, I think we can all be honest with each other and say no. But are they a good team? I think so. I think they're a team that, when it comes down to it, can win a game and this is the big key. They can finish a game now.
Yeah.
They can finish a game off. They can get a lead. They play very well late, and they can hold on to a lead, and they can finish a game. I think that's a big difference this year from the last couple of years with how terrible the Giants have been.
And the thing is, I watched a couple of games, 2 or 3 games of the Giants when the Eagles weren't on or whatever, and you could see there's a lot more consistency compared to the past couple of seasons. Like, either you guys would come out like gangbusters and, beat the shit out of somebody, and then the next week you would give up 50 points. Now, this year, it just seems like you guys, even close games, you guys are still throwing haymakers, still throwing punches to stay in that game. It's not just like a rollover and die team like the past couple seasons.
Daniel Jones, Vanilla Vic, baby. That dude moves. I love it.
What did they say?
I love it.
A couple of his runs were faster than Lamar Jackson or something?
Yes. He's
Lamar?
done that. The one that you always make fun of him for
falling on the 5-yard line.
For tripping over. But on that run, he was the fastest player in the NFL that year on that run. And nobody believes it because he's a white guy. He's speedy,
lanky.
athletic. He's got a high motor. He's a high motor guy. You know, But that's why, because I think people are fooled by the whiteness. You look at White and you're like, okay, well, he's not that fast, and it's like, oh no, he's pretty fast. He's very athletic, you know.
Yeah.
Do
you think
again?
Do you think up until this point he's played to a new contract, or do you still think you need to see more?
It's a long season. It's a long season.
Okay.
We got a ways to go still. We'll see. Again, this is a results-oriented league. We're 3-1. That's 4 games out of a 17-game regular season schedule. So there's still 13 games left.
Yeah.
There's a lot of football left. This game in London, I think, is a big one. And it's one, I'm going to say this. I'm not predicting a win. I'm not guaranteeing a win. But I certainly think it's one we can win.
Who are you playing?
The Packers. And the reason listen, the Packers are, they have Aaron Rodgers. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they have Aaron Rodgers. And that's it. and that's a problem. And as we've seen these first 4 weeks of the season, I think this is a game that the Giants can win. The Giants defense, if the Giants defense plays well enough, they can win this game. So, and that's something that at the beginning of the year, I marked this up as a loss.
Yeah.
I was like, well, we're going to lose to the Packers in London, so it is what it is. I don't have that feeling right now. I have that feeling of we could win it. We could pull this one out. We could win this one.
This is a game that, like, if you guys keep it downright dirty and muddy wet asses and all that stuff, you could. I think that's how you pull this out. And it's funny because our Thursday.
But that's how we've been playing these games anyway. And people make fun of it. Oh, Giants. Oh, the Giants go. Oh, this is boring to watch. Listen, like my New Jersey Devils with the neutral zone trap in the 90s. I don't give a shit if it's boring for everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what's not boring? Winning fucking games. Shit's fun as hell.
I mean,
I'll tell you that.
Obviously, as a non-Giants fan, I mean, the couple of games I watched that were real close and everything and dirty and all that stuff, I was enjoying it. Man, the Tennessee game had me on the edge of the seat, and I'm not even a Giants fan.
I was going to say, well, that game, again, that game had a lot in it. You had Saquon had a couple big runs in there. Shepard, man, he had a great pass. He's out for the year thanks to MetLife's turf, which is terrible. Now, here's a question. I do want to pose this question to you. Just jump on this real quick before we move on.
Okay.
Because I've been hearing, there's a rumbling I've been hearing from a lot of people, and the Shepard injury brought that to light, and it's kind of been building, but there was a big push after that is a lot of players and now a lot of media people and a lot of, fans have kind of always said it, been here or there, but there's a real big push now that they want field turf gone. They want all grass, all stadiums.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that? And is it possible?
See, didn't they? So like when they went to field turf, that was like 80s, 90s, wasn't it?
No. Field turf got its start, I want to say early 2000s is when they started switching over from AstroTurf to the field turf, because AstroTurf usually was just green carpet.
All right, that's what I'm thinking of. Is
you had AstroTurf, which was just green carpet, which is what was at the vet, at Giant Stadium. Everybody did like that. Then it was like nobody, like it was killing people. Like people were just dying. It was just the worst thing to play on.
What I would do if I was the NFL is, obviously they keep stats of injuries and even down to specific ones. Do a study. I mean,
they have it. They have the numbers.
So
those numbers are there. Those numbers are out, and the injuries on field turf is higher.
Like a lot.
Because
higher?
Yes, significantly higher, and that's simply because, again, grass gives, dirt gives, plastic doesn't.
But that's how most of these ACLs that get torn, you see their knee slips out because the grass gave way or
no, that's not what tears your ACL. What tears your ACL is when you plant your leg and with the ground doesn't give and you're putting all that torque and all that pressure on it, and what normally would happen is the grass would give or the dirt would give, and instead of that giving, the only thing that's left to give is the joint.
The only issue,
and then that rips. The
only issue or problem that I could see coming is, do you remember that Miami-Pittsburgh game 5, 7, 8 years ago? with the monsoon that came through and the
Yeah, but that's gonna happen. That's fine. Like you're gonna have like that's to me. There's nothing wrong with that.
The only way I see the NFL teams, the owners agreeing to that, like let's just say that the players want that in the collective bargaining agreement. Okay, the only way I see the owners saying okay to that is you guys gotta give us a little money back then to hire people to take care of this week in and week out. When a monsoon comes through, we gotta hire a crew to replace all the sod and all that stuff. That's the only way.
If Europe can maintain all these goddamn soccer fields in pristine conditions all year long, here's the problem. The biggest problem with the fields isn't the games played on it. It's the fact that a lot of these stadiums are also owned by owners or owned by other people that, you have 8 dates a year that you fill up with football games.
Yeah.
But you got to, you want to make money on all the other days of the year. You have to get a return on that investment that you had in building the stadium. So you have concerts and you have other things like that, and that stuff tears up the field.
But
so have to have there has to be a way that you can do all that but still have the grass field. Outside of that, grass fields can be done everywhere, even in domes now. You can do grass fields because they have you see the big UV tracks. So you've seen them a lot now during like Super Bowl week. You'll see them. They have them out there to make sure they grow during the nighttime and all that stuff. So you have UV tracks, like the Tottenham Stadium one they have in London there, where they take the football pitch off the soccer pitch, and they store it away in 3 separate trays. But inside each one of the separate trays, they have the UV lights there, so it still grows and it has all that stuff there. There's ways you can do it. Is it an investment? Yes. But that's the way you're going to have to look at it. And especially with the league saying that they are fully on board with player safety.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. Again, we just talked about the Tua situation. But if you want to be about player safety, grass has always been the superior surface to play on. Unless you're in Chicago, because they fuck that field up all the time. But that's because the city of Chicago doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Which is why the Bears are moving to Arlington Heights.
But, like how you said, there would have to be a way to figure out how to protect that grass for concert stuff. This past summer, I took my oldest down to Hershey Stadium.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's a grass.
That's field turf.
Field turf? Well, either way,
that's
field turf. They actually, and they had the merchandise stands down on the field. They had like plastic, like real thick plastic covering on the field.
Yeah, but that breaks the grass. That kills the grass. That tramples it.
Okay.
And it doesn't get any light. Even for not getting that light or not getting that air and being trampled down for however long it is, usually 8, 12 hours, sometimes 24 hours, depending on how long the setup is.
Yeah.
That's enough to fuck up the grass.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. And the stadiums that have the removable field trays are in a lot better position. Like in Vegas, they have that now, which helps them out. In Phoenix, in Glendale with the Cardinals, they have that. They've had that. That's great. And that's a fantastic thing. Not every stadium can have that. But I think what you're going to start seeing from now on is stadiums that are built might have it set up where they have some kind of tray system, either like they have there in Vegas and in Glendale, or like they have in Tottenham, where they'll be able to split it up and store it away underneath the stands and still have it there. Just something to keep it from getting trampled and to keep it in a playable condition for longer times, because you can't do this. And again, MetLife Stadium's turf has had a history of players complaining about it, not liking it. The San Francisco 49ers complained about it last year when they played the Giants and Jets back-to-back weeks, and they were like, I think Joey Bosa got hurt on it, and they're like, this is the worst turf. And the NFL comes out and says, well, we inspected it, and it seems playable. It's gotten our AOK seal stamp of approval, but everybody who plays on it says, this is a joke. This is garbage. And you see it when Sterling Shepard's just jogging on a route, and he fucking rips his knee apart when he's just jogging. Like that's a problem. So my only question was, do you think it's feasible, and will we see it anytime soon? I think I think within the next 10 years,
I was going to say about 5
we're going to
10 years.
get probably more grass fields. Find a way to get grass fields in, especially. And I think they could do it in domes too.
Yeah.
You know, now, like I said, with the UV lighting tracks they have, it's going to be an investment that the owners are going to have to make. You know, and that they're going to have to hire field crews again instead of just throwing in plastic carpet. And I understand that that's an expense that they don't want to pay, but you're gonna have to, you know. And I'm also one that, listen, if the field turns a little dirty and a little muddy towards the end of the season, you get the ball patch in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck. That's football.
Exactly.
Fucking deal with it.
That's why Super Bowl should be up north.
So like I don't mind that. Like, I'm fine with that. Some people are like, oh god, that field looks so gross. I can't believe they're playing on dirt. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
It's football. You don't want to play on dirt, don't play fucking football.
Exactly.
You know? And I was like, would you rather play on dirt or would you rather play on fucking plastic that rips your knees apart?
Yeah.
So that's all I gotta say about that.
Well, let's stick with Sterling Shepard here, because he had a bad, not a stat bad game, just a bad game. He had the blown knee. He got fined $13,000 or whatever it was for coming out on the field to try to break up a fight, and he got called for one of, if not worst, offensive pass interference calls.
That was
so. I thought the Devontae Smith one. I think 2 weeks earlier, where I texted you and I said, "Dude, this is fucking garbage," and I thought that was the worst one. Dude tried to get out of the way. He legit tried to jump out of the way to Dallas, or the guy you guys were playing, ran into him.
Not. Here's the thing. Not only that, he's downfield. It's a scramble play. It's not like it's even a planned play. Like it's not a pick. A pick is if you have something planned up, you're there, you're throwing your body in there to kind of block the other guy and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's
not what's happening. Daniel Jones running for his life back there because fucking Evan Neal can't block for shit. And you're down the field, your route is whatever. You're just trying to run around now to try to get open. And you run into somebody just in a scramble drill, and you get called for pass interference for throwing a pick block when that's not like it was. And that's the thing. It took away a first down.
Yeah, it was a big play.
A big gain. It was like a 14-yard, 16-yard gain, something like that.
Yeah.
Got a fresh new life. Instead, it turned into like 3rd and 25 or fucking something. I was like, damn. And again, that was one of the things in that game where I think the Giants could have won that game. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to be like coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
There was a lot of opportunities we missed as well. Not just that one. But it was an egregious call. And I'd like to sit there and say, like, a lot of times when I get upset by calls like that, I'm like, am I getting upset because I'm a Giants fan, or am I getting upset because it legitimately was bad?
Yeah.
And when you go on to Twitter and you go on to social media and you start looking at stuff and you see fucking everybody, whether from every team, every walk of life, saying, what the fuck was that call?
Yeah.
You start feeling better about yourself. It's just like, okay, it's not just me being a homer. It's not just me being like, oh, it's because it was the Giants. It's me because it was a terrible fucking call. The only people defending that call were Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
But, as we all know, Cowboy fans are dumb as shit and don't know football. So.
Even the guy I work with is a Cowboys fan. And he's talking to me about the game just in general. I said, dude, what was that call? He's like, what are you talking about? He ran into my guy. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? He tried to jump out of the way. He ran his route. It wasn't like he ran up to him and locked his hands on him. He legit, like, that's the thing with me. He legit tried to get out of the way.
Yeah, if you watch that play, it's not like he turned and was like did a full block. He turned out, he's trying to get open. He turned around and said, oh shit, there's somebody there.
Yeah.
And tried to get out of the way. And to throw a flag on that, I mean, it's just
plays like that makes me want to have replay for some penalties. Not all the penalties, not well, see, this was the problem. Because like
they
roughing
had
the
the
passer, I think should be one.
They had pass interference in as a reviewable play, but they had it in such a way that no matter what the review was, it was always going to come back to play stance. Like it was like how dare you question the fact that you went that. So they put it in there because that was after the St. Louis NFC Championship, not St. Louis, the
Vikings,
the LA Rams and Saints.
Oh, okay.
With the atrocious
yeah.
Pass interference call that wasn't called against the Rams, and so it was like, listen, that needs to be changed. So they said that you could review it, but that's when you had Gene Steratore in there or whoever, I forget who it was.
Yeah.
Who was the head of the officiating. And they started going from New York, and they were like, oh, well, all right, well, they're going to take a look at this. And it was always stands as call. So eventually it was like, no matter how obviously wrong the pass interference call was, they were never overturning it. So then they just got rid of it. And we're like, okay, well, we'll just get rid of it because it's a waste of everybody's time and it's a waste of challenges and stuff like that. But it's like, that's disingenuous, though. Like the referees just said, okay, well, you can go ahead and challenge it, but we're never changing that call.
Yeah.
And it's like, no matter how egregious it was. And it's like that needs to be different. That's why I wish there was kind of like an XFL system
I was
where
just
you
about to
had
say
a
that.
replay official, where you had somebody to be able to take a look at that and be like, no, that is clearly wrong. Look at it with his Xbox controller. Have it all there broadcast too, to see that, have some transparency.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, no, that's clearly not it. Here's what we're gonna do. Like that's the other thing too, is that there's no transparency with the NFL, and so you have some of these calls and these reviews go back. That needs to be fixed. And if they do that, if they're able to fix that, then I think you definitely have the pass interference thing. And two, I want to see with pass interference, now that we're on this subject.
Okay.
Get rid of the spot foul. Get rid of it. It is that changes games.
I totally agree.
Do it like college does. 15 yards, first down. Leave it at that. I don't care, because you have some of these plays where they'll just say, just go down the field. I'll fucking huck it, and we'll see if we can get lucky with a call.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you got to stop that. So
I mean, how many
I'm
times?
hoping that's something that changes in the future.
How many times do we see a defender get burnt and he just latches onto the ankle that he could? That's the only piece of body that he could grab to slow up the guy. Whereas
that's pass interference.
Well, yeah. Whereas offense pass interference is lost it down in 10 yards or 15.
I think it's. Oh no, it is 10. I think it is 10.
I think pass interference, whether it's offense or defense, should be equal penalty.
And I don't think it's a loss of down either. I think it's just 10 yards.
10 yards, okay. Because I just never understood that. And like when I was younger, like 12, 13, like I followed Notre Dame, but I never really sat down to watch the games until older, 17, 18 years old. And that's when I was like, defensive pass interference, yes, 50-yard penalty, no, 15 yards, blah blah blah. I'm like, that's not right. And
15 yards first down, and I'm okay with that. That's how it should be.
Yeah,
because in the NFL it's gone too far. And that's the thing too, is that most of the NFL rules favor the offense so much.
Yeah,
it's like, listen, let this one come back a little bit. Let's get back to reality here, especially with how fast and how athletic, especially a lot of the wide receivers have become too. Like, again, you talk about a lot of these plays. It's just it's a chuck and pray play.
Yeah,
where you go and you're up there and it's like, okay, well, we hope we get it pass interference, because if you do, we can get it on the 2-yard line or get it on the 1 if it's in the end zone, or do something like that. If you stop short and let the defender run into you, well, okay, now that's a penalty. It's like, that's it's almost become a strategy for some of these teams or some of these players. You gotta stop that.
Which is funny, because how many Hail Marys have we seen any type of pass interference on?
They never. Well, no, you never.
But
you never see them throw on a pass interference on a Hail Mary. Listen, you could sexually assault a player on a Hail Mary play. That flag is not coming out. It could be real bad. They ain't doing it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to get me too'd on that, but no, like they will not throw a flag on that. So, which, listen, I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. That's that is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think definitely you got to get rid of the spot foul penalty. I don't. It's too much. It's too much in favor of the offense. Anyway,
You ready to do some blue picks?
I guess as ready as I'll ever be. I would review the ones we did 2 weeks ago, but I don't want to because fuck it, I don't care. I suck at everything I do here.
Don't get me laughing, dude. I'm freaking start coughing. Yeah, because I was gonna go back and I actually was like, no, let's just think King won at least one of those games. Since the last time.
I forgot what I picked.
Oh, I got them. I still have them written down. I'll post it to our Twitter what our updated records are. Twitter and don't forget we also have a Discord community now.
I was going to say tell everybody about the Discord so they come in and join us. We got to build that up. You got to help us build this community. We want to be able to go in there and talk and discuss and have good times. Jump into. We have the STS Sports Bar there where you can come in and we can talk about all the sports going on, all the happenings and stuff like that. There are separate chats too for all the other stuff too, but the sports bar is where it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's definitely where you want to go and hang out with us. Where do we have that link? Is it on our Twitter?
I didn't put it on Twitter yet, or on our Twitter profile, whatever.
We should put it on the profile there so everybody can just go there. Go to our Twitter. Go to it's not on our Instagram either. Anyway, just go there. We'll have the link up there for you to go to. Go join. Tell your friends. Tell your buddies. Tell your family. I don't care. Tell your sister. She might like it. I don't know. And come join us.
Okay, I'm glad you stopped there because I know you, and when you said sister, I thought this was going to go a different way.
Well, just because. Never mind. I was going to say nothing. It's fine. Love you, Alice. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
I'll put the censored beat noise. All right. So our blue segment here is our blue picks we pick every week, and it's sponsored by Dubby. Dubby gives you focus and energy without the crash or jitters. It has no sugar, fillers, or artificial dyes. Head over to dubby.gg. They have I think they have 10 or 11 different flavors. So
they have a ton of flavors. There's that. Oh man, I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry. I wish I had that in front of me. It's like some kind of apple flavor, but it's called
sludge
gloopy droopy something.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They have some really funny names, but they do tell you what the flavor is. Like
that, and that stuff's great. And that's the thing. Being a diabetic too, it's hard to find some energy drinks and stuff to keep you going. It has no sugar in it. Doesn't have the crash, doesn't have all that stuff, and they have all the different flavors. Fantastic stuff over at w.gg. And hey, what happens if they go over to w.gg? They're ready to check out, and they say, "Hey, I want to have some percentage off of this. Why, I don't want to pay full price. I want some percentage off." How can they get that, Jimbo?
Well, all you gotta do is enter ST Sports 18, all capital letters, and you'll get 10% off of your purchase.
That's a whole 10% off. Look at that.
If you think about it, that covers your sales tax plus some, depending on where you were living at. Here in Pennsylvania, it's 6%. I don't know.
And in this economy, where things going the way they're going, 10%, you got to get every cent you can, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go, w.gg. Put in the promo code STSports18, all capital letters. You get 10% off of your W order.
All right. So do you want me to go first this week, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. You go first. I'll take a look at some of these terrible, terrible games and see. That's
what I was thinking too.
What I'm going to be wrong on.
There was a couple games, there was about 5 or 6 games. I'm like, man, that's a tough call. Who I want to pick there? All right. So blowout pick. Holy shit! Green Bay's favored by 8. I might put some money on that.
I'm saying I don't know why that point spread's so high. If I still had some cash in my FanDuel account, I would put money on.
I might Venmo you $1. All right, my blowout pick. I'm going with the Bills over the Steelers. Like we talked about earlier, Steelers just are not a good team, and I think this Buffalo's defense, even though they have a couple
I think this is a
serious
get-right
injuries.
game for Buffalo.
Yeah,
You know,
and that's
they've
the
had
other
a couple
thing, too.
close calls the last game. They lost to Miami. They had a comeback and win against Baltimore. And listen, Baltimore's not a bad team, but you know, watching the first couple weeks of the season, you thought Buffalo was going to be this unstoppable juggernaut. They seem to have tripped these last couple games. I think against Pittsburgh and how they are, this is definitely a get-right game for them.
Okay. Did you get
So
picked?
your pick is Buffalo for the blowout, correct?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to make a blowout pick, and it's probably going to make you happy. Or I don't know. I don't know how you're going to feel about this one. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the Eagles to blow out the Arizona Cardinals. The Eagles are just on a different level right now. They're playing better. Jalen Hurts is this is a blossom year. He is blossoming like a terrible, smelly Philadelphia flower, but he is blossoming. That Eagles team looks for real for now. They're not going undefeated, especially once they play the Giants later on in the season.
They will be the team to give us our first loss.
But Arizona, they play just absolutely fantastic lights out football in the fourth quarter. It's the first three quarters that you got to fucking worry about. And we were talking about disappointments and surprises before. The Cardinals might be one of my biggest disappointments because they don't look like a team that we thought they were.
Yeah.
But you know what? You are who you are. And I just see the Eagles going there to Arizona, and they should lay a thumping on them.
I'm almost positive our Thursday family CBS thing that we do. I'm almost positive I took the Cardinals. Again, I'm just being.
You have a problem taking. I was going to say you didn't take the Eagles against Jacksonville either.
I've learned not to pick them on anything. You know, like to win. And
see, this is the problem. Once you start believing you're gonna pick them, and then they're gonna lose.
Exactly. It's gonna be week 16 against the Giants. I'm like, yeah, we're going undefeated.
No, that's not good. Listen, you ain't making it to week 16 undefeated.
No, I know.
Save this clip just in case it happens, so that you can screw with me. But you're not making it to week 16.
All right, our lock pick time. Let's see here. All right, my lock pick. I'm gonna go with Chargers over the Browns.
That's a gutsy lock pick.
And you know they're both 2-2. The Chargers are better than 2-2. You know, do I think they're, top 1, top 2 seed? No, in the AFC, no, but they're better than 2-2. You know,
playing in Cleveland though.
Yeah.
They're playing in Cleveland. Now, granted, they are in Cleveland and they're favored by 2.5. So they're getting some money because that's at home. Teams automatically get the 3 points at home. So
yeah.
It's swung over to them. But still, I mean, for a lock pick. That's a gutsy one. That's a gutsy one. I'll give that to you. That's a good gutsy one. For my lock, jeebus. Oh boy. All right, for my lock, I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Houston Texans. Like I talked about earlier, Jacksonville is definitely my surprise success positive of the year so far. They had a bunch of turnovers there against the Eagles. Otherwise, I think they were right in that game and could have won that game. But, coulda, woulda, shouldas being what they are. They're still 2-2. They're still very impressive. And the Texans are fucking terrible. It's just they show signs. They're competitive. So I'll give them that. But the competitive and bad is still bad. So that'll be my lock. I'll go to Jacksonville Jaguars. They're favored by 7 over Houston.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Jacksonville over the Texans.
Okay. All right. Now we're on to our upset picks. There's quite a few games that are, according to our rules, as long as the underdog is 5, as long as they're getting 5.5 points or more. There's quite a few games here. Let's see here. Oh, I can't. No, I can't.
I think I got mine, and I think I know what you want to have for yours.
I don't want to pick this team. It's against my religion. 5
Happy Yom Kippur, everybody, by the way, for all those who celebrate.
Son of a bitch. I'm going with Dallas. Dallas over the Rams. I think the Cooper Rush train keeps rolling and making that quarterback controversy a little bit louder. And the Rams, Rams are 2-2. I don't think they're playing as well as they did last year. They're okay, but they're not playing as well as last year. So I'm going with the Cowboys.
You stole my pick.
That's I saw it. I'm like,
pick.
Man.
I heard you wavering on it. I was like, oh, go on, pick something else, because I was going to pick that one. Because that's it. You're an Eagles fan. I'm a Giants fan. Neither one of us are really great about wanting to pick that game.
Yeah.
But when it comes to it, you know what?
You still could pick them.
I'm not. I'm going to let you have that one.
Okay.
I'm going to let you stew on it. Let you stew on your Cowboys love there. I know you're a big Cowboys mark.
You just don't want to sit on the same couch as me with the Cowboys pick.
So here's what I'm going to do, because this is also another surprise. That's so far of this year. I'm going to pick the Seahawks to beat the Saints. The Seahawks are currently 5.5-point underdogs to the Saints in New Orleans. Geno Smith apparently is not a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
I know Geno Smith's better than Russ Wilson. Well, let's give it a little while. But for right now, the results speak for themselves. The Broncos suck. The Seahawks, who I in the beginning of the year said may be the worst team in the NFL in the last 5 years, disregarding any Browns efforts over that time. But yeah, I think the Seahawks not only are doing well, they're letting Geno cook. Let Geno cook out there. I'll take them. I'll take the surprising Seahawks to beat the Saints at the Caesar Sportsbook Superdome.
And with your Seattle pick here, have you seen, are you following Robert Griffin III on Twitter or anything like that?
I am not. I've had a couple of people send me some of the stuff he's did.
Did you see what he said about Seattle's defense? I think last weekend.
I saw what he said about the Lions, and he said watching that, because again, the Lions and Seahawks combined for 93 points.
Yeah,
I believe overall, and as he said, AB has shown more D than either the Lions or the Seahawks did in that game. In case if you're wondering what we're talking about, just go to Twitter, type in Antonio Brown, you'll find it. Among
other headaches that he posts. I hope Tom Brady finds him in a dark alley and takes him off to the side.
I hope he doesn't find him in a dark alley, because Tom might be in trouble. Tom might get stabbed with that thing. I don't know. I'll listen. Antonio, congratulations. On such a piece of physical structure. I'm trying to find ways to say this. I don't know why I curse him during everything else, but now I'm trying to be all coy. And,
when the mosaic of the picture is almost up to your head, I mean,
it's like that's... I'm sure the sexual harassment and everything that was there from the other ladies around the pool, not great. Again, we're not celebrating that, of course. And again, PSA for everybody out there, in case you needed this reminder, don't whip your penis out in public. It's just don't do it. It's not a good idea.
It's not a good
rich,
first
famous,
pickup line.
Or doesn't matter. Drunk, sober, doesn't matter. Just your penis, keep it inside your pants. It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
In public. Hey, listen. Once you're in your own private domicile, do with your penis what you will.
Yeah.
As long as it's still legal. Again, we have to
That's
try
the key word.
Yeah. As long as everything is consensual in your private domicile with your penis, you're fine. You're good. In public, nothing can really be consensual in public. I didn't consent to seeing your penis. Please keep it in your pants. There you go. The PSA from Stay Tuned Sports.
And that is our Blue Picks, which is sponsored by Dubby. Like we said, head over to dubby.gg. Use the promo code STSports18, all capital letters, and you'll get 10% off your purchase.
And that Antonio Brown segment, it was sponsored by Blue Chew, apparently.
Is that his newest one? because I saw a commercial with him, and he's like, say it's Bose headphones or whatever, and he holds up the Bose headphones, and then he has all that stuff in his mouth, I guess the grills or whatever they call it. And
I haven't seen it. Was this an Antonio Brown commercial?
Yeah. And
I didn't know he was still getting commercials. I thought he kind of was.
It was actually on Facebook as I was scrolling. I saw him. I'm like, oh, let's see what Antonio Brown's doing now. And here it was an ad read he was doing.
Well, Blue Chew isn't a headphone thing. So
no, I know. I just forgot. I forget what the ad was for, but he was, he was reading for it. But
apparently, that's the thing. He doesn't. Apparently, he either uses it and it's very effective, or he doesn't need it. So either way. Why are we still talking about Antonio Brown's penis?
I don't know.
Can we just end the show, please?
I'm trying to get off of it, but you're the one that keeps talking about it.
My God. Well, I mean, listen. If you saw it, it's it is what it is.
That's going to be it for us this week. So, like I said, we have the Discord invite in the show notes here down below. Plus the W sponsor, if you guys want to head over there.
You got that. Go to staytunesports.net. We have a lot of stuff there. I still got to modernize that.
Yeah, you got to fix my colors.
Yeah, I got to do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, go to staytunesports.net. You can get all these stuff there. We'll have links there as well. At ST Sports Podcast is the Twitter, is the Instagram, all the social medias is at ST Sports Podcast. Yeah, again, we'll have the links up for the Discord there so you can join. Hope to hear from you there soon. What else, Jimbo? Anything else?
All right, I think you covered it all.
Oh, that's good.
See?
Okay.
At least one of us has a good memory.
Well, I mean, so many years in doing actual radio and doing stuff like that, you kind of learn how to try to keep stuff in the brain and do stuff like that. So it's just a force of habit. Also, right now I can't get Antonio Brown's penis out of my brain. So just end the show here and please end me and get me out of this hell.
See you guys later.
Adios, people.